My name is Ian Peters, and this is my Session 5 persuasion speech entitled Understanding Warfare and Our Combat Veterans. On April 11th of 1962, President John F. Kennedy said this about our Green Berets, or our United States Army Special Forces. Green Beret is a symbol of excellence, a badge of courage, a mark of distinction in the fight for freedom. The intention of this speech is not to recruit young, brave, strong, passionate, and patriotic men to join the ranks of our military. Honestly, they are not my hoped-for audience, as they probably already have, and it is this fact that I have decided to talk to you about. Understanding why they have joined, what they are going through, and changing, and how they may be when they do come home. Our military today is a volunteer force. There is no draft and nobody is forced into service. There are primarily two negative ideas and opinions some Americans have towards our soldiers. One is that they had no business being in Iraq or Afghanistan, and they are therefore not defending my freedom. As politically preached over and over, I am safe in America. We are not the police force of the world. The second is that all combat veterans come back different, or crazy, or must have PTSD. The reality of it is that freedom is not free. Our soldiers have been fighting and dying for nearly 250 years in defense of our rights and freedoms. Daily, from the western coast of Africa to the northeastern border of the Arctic Circle over Russia, our freedoms are challenged by terrorism. Eco-terrorism, narco-terrorism, environmental terrorism, and cyber-terrorism, just to name a few, are attempted to be employed by the enemies of our nation to bring the very freedoms we enjoy on a daily basis to a sudden halt. And who are those that overwatch our freedom? I have always been a soldier. I have known no other life. The calling of arms I have followed from boyhood. I have never sought another. Said Stephen Pressfield in 2004, writing about Alexander the Great. Not every man is created a warrior, but the ones who are know their calling, and they know it early. They are dedicated, loyal, they are full of personal courage and integrity, and they are willing to stand guard in bad places so others won't have to. These are the men who will charge an enemy machine gun position without a second thought, will enter an enemy stronghold thinking of only the mission and protecting their brothers, and who will fight their way to the gunfire, not run from it. These are the men in the image of Nathaniel Hale, who said before his hanging for spying on the British on September 22nd, 1776, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Yes, these young men are warriors, and because they followed their hearts, they have been changed. They came to understand that they had to depend on their brother on their left and right. They would have to follow an order without hesitation, and that they fight not only for the lives of their comrades, but the safety and freedom of their country and their families. They are the personification of selfless service. Let's look at something we all take for granted. Sleep, for example. Being able to stay awake is one of the fundamental survival adaptations of soldiers in modern warfare, and persistence of this survival adaptation into civilian life creates endless problems, said Dr. Jonathan Shea in 2002. Imagine not sleeping for but an hour or two for days on end while searching out enemy fighters over rugged, unforgiving mountainous terrain, or staying awake after a grueling mountainous patrol for 4 hours on guard duty, knowing that your not sleeping is keeping your brother alive. The same instances may be looked at with eating and drinking. Just drinking water is something we take for granted. The personal sacrifice our warriors make while we think little are freely eating at McDonald's. And Dr. Shea is correct as he applies his ideas creatively in Odysseus in America, as he talks of the trials of the warrior's homecoming in comparison to the journeys of Odysseus after his fighting. Our warriors are not going to sleep well. They're going to be guarded, and they're going to be untrusting. They're going to be tense, on guard, and extra vigilant. I do speak with personal knowledge and experience to you now, and my asking you to understand what can of what they have done and seen. It is all of us, after all, that have asked them to go to these foreign places and do things we can only dream of in our defense. Let us not take their resilience for granted. Rather, extend an understanding ear to listen and an open mind and heart to understand their trials with compassion. You will be surprised of the lives you will change. John F. Kennedy did say, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," in one of his many famous speeches. The reality is, our country asked us to go to war in Iraq and Afghanistan. As I write this speech, we are still at war in Afghanistan, and I am astonished on a daily basis on most of our country people that are not aware of that, nor are they aware of the warriors we lose on a daily basis. As I write this speech, our warriors have departed again for Iraq to help establish a stronghold of security and support the reestablishment of their government. Think no ill of the young warriors we asked to go to do harm on dangerous people, to free the oppressed, and to stand watch on a cold, dark night alone so we do not have to. Embrace them when they return and hear their stories. Our warriors are in the tradition of the soldiers of Sparta, who would turn away from no evil, never compromise their moral integrity, and never have their freedom threatened, and return to their women with their shields or on it. Thank you.